Well, hello, YouTube friends and followers. So I've had quite the time with this new purchase. I was in a bidding war on eBay with a bunch of probably fellow amateur radio operators for this 10 Tec Pegasus, which was told to me that it worked. So anyway, 10 Tec Pegasus, the gentleman who sold it, who lives in Florida, said it worked, and it did not work. So as soon as I applied power to this thing, it began to smoke, and I could hear it sizzle. So I thought, geez, and the whole room smelled like bird resistor. So I thought, well, this is not going to work out very well. Anyway, it caused me to have to pull this whole thing apart, which I didn't want to do. I paid like, I think, $427 for this thing working. I mean, it didn't work, so it still doesn't work very well. Anyway, the story goes, I did get some parts with it, and encoder. I don't know what that part is. He threw it in a walkie-talkie in a serial cable, which I can't use on my computer. Anyway, long story short is I pulled this thing apart yesterday. I also got a microphone too, which is good. Anyway, I pulled this thing apart yesterday and yanked it out of the case to try and debug what was wrong with it. The had a blown capacitor, which really shouldn't matter a whole lot, but that was on this RF board on the other side of it. So once that was corrected, I was still not able to make the radio work, and I found that it had a blown voltage regulator on the CPU board. So what I did was I simply took a 5-volt power supply that went to a magic jack, I think, and I simply soldered the power supply into the LM 7805 regulator, which doesn't work anymore. Anyway, that brought the board up. So I found the radio would boot finally, and I was able to connect it via this cable, which is a newish cable that some gentleman in Campbell made, an amateur radio operator, which lets you connect to a Windows 10 computer with it. And I found the software would work. So the existing Tec Pegasus software would work on this thing. Anyway, it is running now. I don't know if it transmits, but I think it does receive. Not great, but it receives. So there's 20 meters. I have my long antenna here as usual, and I can hear on this thing, so let's go down to FT8. Okay, there's FT8 roughly. So it's receiving. So anyway, I'm happy about that.
get the power line to supply it. There's a couple friends of mine. You know what a old pig is? Yeah. That's what I use. And take care of that. He used to dim the neighbor's light. I was running it on 240.
Ago, I can absolutely relate. I don't have it.
Anyway, it works. When this video comes up, the receive light will blink, meaning it wants to have communication with the Windows 10 or Windows whatever computer with this program for ASCII running through this cable here. And once it establishes contact, it'll stay lit. Of course, I closed the program now, so it's still lit, but if I rebooted the CPU board, that would flash again. So it's not the most sensitive radio. I don't think it transmits yet either. I haven't really been able to verify if it transmits, but it does receive, so I'm happy about that. I still feel like we overpaid for this thing at like $427 or something. It was just a lot of money. So I'm trying to make a deal with the seller saying that, look, I bid on something which you told me worked and it does not work. So that's not the way to go through life. But you can't get hung up on a small thing, so I guess I'm not that hung up about it. I think I put about 8 hours into this thing, fixing it. I still need to get a voltage regulator for it and to go that way. Anyway, this is how to test the thing on a bench. You can pretty much string it together like this, and it'll function just fine. Put the power into the back where it goes. I still got to buy a proper power cable for it, because the guy never sent me a power cable, so that needs to get done. I guess once I get a new regulator for it, I'm going to string it back together. So I've been powering it off my Drake power supply there, and powering off the CPU board off this 5-volt supply. Pull the power, and off it goes, and that's it. So yeah, I'm trying to find my eBay stuff here to show you people what this guy did to me here, or didn't do, or should I be happy, should I not be happy, should I care? Alright, here's my 10 Tec right here. I paid $422 for it, so yeah, so I bought this thing off this guy, and I paid $422 for it, all told. He was a week late in getting it to me, or 2 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, I want to see what this thing looks like here, the original auction, to see what it says. What does he say about it? Well, he doesn't say it works or doesn't work. Okay, here we go. Condition. Okay, well, he's on the hook. An item that has been used previously may have signs of wear, operational and functional was intended, it was not. May have been a floor model been used. Well, he says it worked. Didn't work. Anyway, I have it finally working partially. Okay, thanks for watching. Again, this is a 10 Tec Pegasus, which I've had to pull all apart, spend hours debugging it. It looks like it has a bad voltage regulator. It had a bad capacitor. I have no idea if the final here works or not yet. Who knows? Who knows? I think in my recollection, I've offered the guy to keep. I said I would keep this thing for $150 because I figured it wasn't worth more than $150 broken. But he originally told me he would refund all my money and I can keep it. But now he's not. He's backpedaling. So yeah, we'll see. People are people. You got to give people some leeway. You got to give people a way out and have them save face and all that. And anyway, enough of this. I got real work to do. Again, this is a 10 Tec Pegasus. It's an interesting radio, but there is no service manual for this thing anywhere. If you blow this thing up, good luck getting it fixed. There's schematics for it that some guy in Germany, I think, or Denmark or somewhere scanned. Anyway, so let me unplug this, and now that I'm taking it apart, I can show you the boards. Now that it's powered down, that's powered off. Take that wire out of there. That's a ground wire, I guess it doesn't matter. Make sure it's a ground wire. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's pull the ASCII out of here. I was using some paper notes, some paper here to keep it from shorting out. And I had the speaker kind of tagged on here. Here we go. And let's take this off of here. And with one hand, I'm going to pull this board away from the transmitter filter board here. There it is. Yeah, this board here is really tucked in here. And when I got this thing, these LEDs were kind of bent upwards. I'm not sure why, but they were. So somebody must have been tinkering with it a long time ago. All right, so what's interesting on here? Well, let's take this back out. So these are sandwiched together, and when I had this thing, it was blown up. Okay, you can see where I tagged on the power supply here to feed the CPU board. So I have this regulator on order from Amazon. I have a couple of those coming, so we'll put those in. They're going to be from the ST company in France, so I guess they'll be okay. But I wanted to make sure the radio worked and it receives. So once you power it up with 5 volts, it will receive. You can see very clearly that this is a DSP board, CPU board, and this board is dead. I don't think there's any real fixing it easily. So, as I told the seller, I said I got a pig in a poke here if this doesn't work. But it does receive now with additional voltage, so I have to get that regulator replaced. And okay, so when I first got this board, okay, this big one here, okay, this little one, little board here, DSP board has no power. I fixed that, but I still got to replace the LM3905 right there. I simply have soldered on a power supply as I'm showing you. That's simply on for testing it, so that's got to get fixed. When I first got this thing yesterday, I powered it up and it blew smoke and fire. So it looks like there was a capacitor right here, and I think it was a 10 UF. Somebody had taken an image of this board and actually put the parts on it, of what they were as far as the part numbers. And I think this was C99 or something, and it basically is the same as that one, I'm thinking. So I did have an old Chinese, or some new Chinese caps here, so I put on some China caps on here and stuck one in there, so that solved that. You can see the cap. Let's see, where are they? Cap. There it is. So that 10 at 16V, I think that was identical. I think that was identical to this one, but this was a cap here. So I just put a 10 UF cap in here that I have from a bunch of Chinese parts that I bought on Amazon, and hopefully that'll cure whatever that cap does. It's probably just a filtering cap or something, but it's been replaced. So this smoked out yesterday when I first got this thing. It smoked out pretty good. Right about there, and caused me a lot of alarm and upsetness and angst. And so ever since that smoked out, I thought this thing's a basket case, and no, it's not entirely. I don't know if it transmits yet. I don't know if the finals are kaput, but it does work in receive mode with this addition here. It will receive. Okay, so here's the cable I have for it. This I got from the guy in Campbell on eBay. It's a great cable. He says made by hams for hams. This has the correct driver for Windows 10, and it can't, on my Windows system, this is coming on COM 3. So I set COM 3 on this thing, and it works great with the old software from Tec. So I got lucky there. In fact, I was using this thing with RDP, and it worked fine. RDP in from a Mac OS system. So that's it on the Tec. It's so apart. I have to now get it back together when I get the regulator replaced and see how it goes. I have all the screws in here, as you can see. Anyway, back to my real job now. Yeah, this has been a real mess, and I wish I wouldn't have paid $422 or $27 for this thing. It's not worth it. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes after I get the regulator and put it back together. And I gotta buy a real power cable for it and check it in transmit mode and see if I can get some transmit out of this thing, and then we'll go from there. I still may return it to the guy. He's not gonna budge, I guess, on refunding me anything. So I don't know. I might just return it. We'll see. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day.